This is the Talktagon on 91X Sports Talk Radio. We've gathered around the octagonal table to battle over the latest in sports with words. Good afternoon, I'm Megan Burke, and I'm joined by Ayana Bretherick, Benjamin Obey, and Braun Geller. Today we're talking about our Super Bowl picks, Steelers or Packers, who will take it? The National Lacrosse League is underway after 5 games. Toronto Rock are in first. We'll discuss the season so far. The Loyalist Lancers volleyball and basketball teams are nearing the end of their seasons. Are playoffs just a dream for them? And the Belleville Bulls, can they clinch into a playoff spot? So first things first, guys, let's just breeze right by the Super Bowl picks. Everyone's talking about them. I'm personally in for the Steelers just based on their experience alone. What about you, Ben?
I got to go with the Packers. I love the small town feel. Steelers, they've won 2 of the past 5 championships. I got to go Packers for this one. I love Aaron Rodgers.
I'm a Steelers girl just because I like Roethlisberger over Rodgers. That's really the only deciding factor for me.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Cheeseheads on this one. Ever since Brett Favre's left, I've really wanted to see Green Bay come out and get a Super Bowl and just kind of put that in his face for saying, you left us, look what we've done in the past 3 years.
So we're split right down the middle, I guess.
Split right down the middle, 2-2. So come Monday, everyone can finally rub their picks into each other's face or cower in the corner.
Yeah, and another thing, they're expecting a record crowd of 105,000, hopefully, for the Super Bowl. This would break the record in attendance that occurred January 20th, 1980, between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Los Angeles Rams at the Rose Bowl.
Not bad. So now we're going to move right on to the National Lacrosse League. We have our specialist, Ayana Bretherick, with us. So tell us, what's going on with the Toronto Rock?
All right, well, the Toronto Rock they're sitting in first, 4 wins, 1 loss. Their only loss came in Buffalo against the Bandits a couple weeks ago, and they had their second meeting with the Bandits of the regular season last weekend, which was basically fight night at the Air Canada Centre. First period, which is normally a 15-minute period, took almost an hour to play. There was 134 penalty minutes in the first period alone, standing room only in the penalty boxes. It was a little bit ridiculous in my opinion, but once all the fighters were kind of booted from the game, the game got underway, and it was very well played. Braun?
Well, it's nice to see that a Toronto team is doing well so far this season. I know when the Leafs were 4-0, Leaf fans had a little sense to chirp there, but it's nice to see the Toronto Rock doing well early on in the season. And another plus is Bob Watson, goaltender for the Rock, was named Player of the Month through January, so that's another plus to the Toronto Rock.
Been around forever, by the way.
Yeah, he's turning 41 this year, and he's 12 goals shy of his 12 saves shy of his 6,000th save in the NLL, and he's also 124 minutes away from his 10,000th minute played, which is an incredible feat, obviously. And it's kind of weird to look at it because he's turning 41, and the goalie they played last week, Goodleaf, is just turning 24, and Watson outplayed him in every margin, every aspect of the game. So it was incredible to watch.
Yeah, well, speaking of Bob Watson, he'll have his work cut out for him tomorrow. I guess they'll be facing Boston Blazers over at the TD Garden at 7:30. They have 2 of the top scorers in the league, the 2 top scorers, Casey Powell and Dan Dawson, 38 points each. Rock have their own third scorer, Steph LeBlanc, great season, 32 points. So it should be a good game tomorrow night.
He was also player of the game, or player of the week 3 weeks ago, which was, I mean, the Rock have had 2 players of the week. So
what do you guys think about the whole the fighting again? Sorry, just they don't meet again until
April.
With Buffalo until April.
Yeah.
So do you think they'll cool down after then, or will it be another fight as soon as they meet up?
I don't think so. Every single game that they've met, they just have this blood rivalry between each other. I think it's probably because they're so close to each other. They're only 2 hours. 2 hours apart, and there's just this real animosity between the teams. So I think that every time we see the Bandits and the Rock play each other, they're going to be out for blood.
All right, guys, let's change gears here. Go on to the Loyalist team, the basketball team. I know right now they felt like they were hurting for a bit. Trevor Mayer, one of their captains and their starting post player, he's been out on injury, tore his MCL, so he's kind of down. Ben, what else is going on with the basketball team?
Well, just stick on Trevor Mayer there. For a team that was already struggling with size down the middle, losing their number one their starting center, their main leader, their emotional leader as well, that's huge. Obviously, they're going to be looking for more size. Captain, obviously, he was the guy. He talks. He's still on the bench. He still talks a lot, but it's not the same when you're not dressed up.
I think you need that veteran role on the court to just keep players intact of where they're on all sides of the ball, and just that presence he has and brings to the Lancers, I think, really hurts the Lancers in the late stages of the season. While they have 4 games remaining, there's a 4-way tie for 6th, 7th, and 8th, as Loyalist is in 9th place. They trail George Brown, Centennial, and Georgian. You have to think within the next 2 weeks, Loyalist has to string together 4 wins with 4 remaining games. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see come March 3rd or the 5th when the OCAA championships are going to be hosted in Algoma College. If Loyalist Lancers will be in the postseason for that.
But without their captain, does anyone really think they're going to be able to pull off and get into this, Ayana?
You have to think about it this way. Trevor Mayer is he's very emotional on the floor, and he's very into the game, and you can tell that he really has his heart and soul into the game. And without having him on the floor to kind of boost the boys' confidence and just kind of push them along, it doesn't seem like they're gelling well, and they just kind of almost fall apart without him there.
Oh, I actually have to disagree on you. I think it's been a team game so far this season. A few newcomers like Tim Halferty, Alex Sargent have stepped up. Damone Donaldson has played really well this year. Even another guy, Matt Miller, has come off the bench and performed for the Lancers. Even Nick Liard, who played for Sudbury last season. So I think Loyalist has had a good change and a good pace to the season so far, even with some injuries. But they've overcome them really well this year.
Don't forget Big Red, Brendan Birkins, who's going to be filling in for Trevor Mayer. That's huge. I think we have to talk about volleyball as well. Those are pretty much our 2 main teams. Sorry, Megan, I know you were going to introduce that. But those are our 2 top teams. The men are second. The women are now third. Women will be hosting OCAA championships. I don't know. They should be really good.
Well, yeah, they trailed Durham College for 4 points. They're 11-3 on the record. Another team, another 2 teams I think they have to worry about is Algonquin and Seneca. They trail Loyalists for 2 points for 2nd place. So it's anybody's game right now, and you can't sit comfortably in 2nd place and hope to make the OCAA championships come the 24th. So it's going to be a real grind, but I think Loyalist just has to keep doing what they've done all season.
Yeah. Don't forget, both the men and the ladies, they have a chance. If there's a championship coming to Loyalist this year, it'll probably be coming from the volleyball teams. One of the 2. They're both excellent teams to watch.
Well, I mean, the men are sitting in 2nd right now behind Durham, and Durham's undefeated. So they've got a really tough road if they want to get any closer to Durham, and if they want to maybe even overtake them, they've kind of got a game ahead of them. So.
Well, come out to the Lancer Dome. It'd be great to see the place packed and cheer on your Lancers. It's a great year for Loyalist athletics. Let's continue the trend this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely more exciting. You can see when there's a lot of people there, it really riles up the players. It's huge for them.
It's a big momentum factor playing in front of your home court fans. Like I know as a former athlete, that was the best thing, was playing on home soil and having your fans behind you and cheering you every step of the game. So I think that'll play a big part in the Lancers' success. And
you have to think about it like I know last week when I went to one of the games, they have the visiting team has their own players come out, and they cheer louder than a lot of the Lancers fans do. And I think we need Lancers fans to come just kind of boost the morale of both the teams.
Yes, last time when actually our women's team, they did defeat Trent, giving them their first loss of the season. It was funny, right before the game, I'd met with one of their teammates, Avril Luck, and she said that whenever they hate going to Trent, whenever they go there, they have a huge crowd. They have laundry containers filled with pennies that they shake, and actually I was at the game and I heard them still bring them and shake them, so they get a lot of encouragement from their team, like the men's team when the women aren't playing.
Yeah, we did have the blue men at the game last week, which was really entertaining to see. So. Yeah,
the blue men definitely add a lot of color to our games when they show up.
Yeah,
bunch of characters to be.
Hopefully they'll come out a little more. I personally thought that they were volleyball players. I'm not sure what everyone else thought who they were.
I'm not sure they were even human, to be honest.
They were very motivational towards everybody. Yeah. They sure like to heckle the other team though. they really seem to get into it. So.
Yeah, I would not want them against me.
Oh, it's nice to get under the skin of the opposing team to throw them off their game a little bit when you have home fans that can do that.
All right, guys, so now we're going to change once again. Belleville Bulls, do you guys think they can clinch into a playoff spot? Braun, what's going on in the OHL?
Well, after a season of up and down so far and goaltending controversy, the Bulls only sit 1 point out of a playoff spot, well, the eighth and only playoff spot. Yeah. And I know they suffered a loss to the Generals this past week, 5-3. They collapsed after having a 2-1 lead.
Tough loss.
And Oshawa just came back with 3 unanswered goals, so they trail by 1 point, and they're on the road tonight in Brampton, and then they play at home versus London. Again, who do you go with? Do you go with Tyshin, or do you go with Malcolm Subban, who's been the better of the goalies so far this past season?
I think at this point, the rookie Subban, they're both the same age, but Subban, he looks to have really seized the number one job, at least for now. Teichmann, he's been on and off on the season so far. We were talking earlier off air, it might be time for a change of scenery for Tyson Teichmann. He's been in Belleville his whole life. His father played here. Maybe he's getting a little complacent, a little comfortable. What do you think about that?
I think that's some of the best players have moved away from home and just really got a sense of who they are. And I think this could be a good thing for Subban to start in goal and maybe see a change in scenery for maybe Tyshin next year if they have to battle for a goaltending spot.
Well, I mean, you have to look at it this way, guys. They're both rookies, or they're not rookies. They're both young guys, and people put a lot of pressure on these guys to always just win all the time, and I think the pressure might be cracking Teichmann a little bit more than it's cracking Subban. So I think Subban is the optimal choice for the Bulls to have as their starting goalie.
Obviously, the family relation. PK played here a couple of years ago. Fan favorite. I think it transferred over to Malcolm. People here love Malcolm. He's a great kid. He seems to be, I don't know him personally, but he seems to be very upbeat, and he really keeps the team together.
He, I know since I've interviewed him a couple times after games, and he's very, even after a loss. I interviewed him after there was a loss where he was 1 goal shy of getting a shutout, his first OHL shutout, and he was still upbeat, chipper, everything. And he was just he's a very nice kid, very just always happy all the time. And it's nice to see that even after a loss, he's still uppity and just a great guy.
I think another player in the Subban family is their younger brother or youngest brother, Jared, a forward in the GTHL. I know the Bulls have their radar on him as he's projected to be one of top 10 pick in the OHL draft this spring. So it'd be nice to maybe have the family lines of the Subban family on the Bulls.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? 3 brothers within the span of 5 or 6 years. That'd be pretty incredible.
Like the stalls all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking to Aaron Bell a couple weeks ago, and he said that even when they were younger, even when Malcolm and Jared were younger, they would come to all PK's games, and they'd be playing with mini sticks and everything. So you can see that they're a real tight-knit family, and that they really do love the sport of hockey. So.
Well, getting back to the actual Belleville Bulls, I remember just not very long ago, they were nowhere even near a playoff spot. So what do you guys think? How will they get into it?
I don't know. I think they've really tied down. Both their coaches have had success at the international level, and I think that brought a little momentum back to the club this year. And they've strung a few wins together in recent weeks, and they've really, I think, have taken less penalties and focused more on the PK and when they are not scoring, but also when they have good goaltending. It's hard to put the Bulls down, but I'm gonna say they're gonna come back in the last stages of the game to get a playoff spot.
You heard it from Braun himself. He thinks they will make it into the playoffs. So you've been listening to the Talktagon Sports Talk with Loyalist Sports Journalism students. I'm Megan Burke with Ayana Bretherick, Benjamin Obe, and Braun Geller, inviting you to enter the Talktagon again next Friday on 91X.